Hi class, and welcome back to the second part of the mini lecture series for week 2. And in this second part, we're going to talk about how to organize your speech. And before we start with the idea of organization, I do want to start by talking about memory. And the reason why it's very important to talk about memory is because whenever we're thinking about speech that is wonderful and that is significant, usually the speaker have only three main ideas that she or he incorporate in the speech. And so we believe that three is the magic number. But why though? According to your book, it is that this idea of even though human memory can absorb up to 7 or 9 things at the same time, and we're talking about short-term memory here, because as a speaker, when you're speaking in front of your audience, you're not engaging with a long-term memory of your audience. Instead, you're engaging with their short-term memory. And with that short-term memory, yes, we can remember 7 up to 9 things, but usually the way our memory works is that we cluster them in a group of three. Yeah. So because three is such a powerful number, that's why a lot of public speaking teachers or instructors are going to really advise you when you start developing your topic for your speech to have three main ideas in your speech. Honestly, I say that 3 to 5 is fine, but I have to agree with researchers here that 3 is kind of powerful number. And when you can, when you're developing your own speech, that you are going to develop it into these three main ideas. And when we're talking about developing a speech, I do want you to pay attention to the speech purpose that I have touched on the previous lecture. And then thesis statement, which is basically what you actually say to the audience about your topic and the purpose. And then the main points, the 3 to 5 main points that supports your thesis. I would like you to understand that in public speaking in general, there are only 3 speech purposes. There you go. That magic number 3 comes up again. And those purpose is to inform, to persuade, and to celebrate, which these are speeches that you're going to deliver for this semester anyway. And it is important for you to have not only a topic, but also a thesis statement, is because in the thesis statement, you basically say what is it that you want to say about the topic. So for instance, if we go back to that mountain biking example, then we understand in that example, the speaker would like to say why mountain biking is a new, exciting, right, and diverse sport. So there are 3 main ideas that that the speaker is developing in that speech. And then here are the steps that you can do to organize your main points. One of the things that a lot of speakers, especially people who are dealing with spaces, yeah, for instance, architects, travel writers, interior designer, when they explain about their project, they would do it spatially. So this idea of space becomes the anchor of how they organize their main points. For instance, if I would like to discuss with you places that you need to visit when you go to, for instance, Washington, D.C., then you would know that one is, for instance, White House. As you enter the White House, on the right side, you will see this. And then on your left side, you will see this. And then when you walk, for 50 yards, you will find this. Those are the ways that you actually describe and organize your main points in this case. You can also organize your main points temporally. And we know that the meaning of tempo is time, basically. So it's a time sequence. And if you're talking about events, a lot of the time people like to use this temporal sequence. You start from, for instance, September 11, and then you go to months and months after that to discuss, for instance, how that incident influenced the livelihood of people who lives around Manhattan, for instance. And then you can also choose topical, which you basically choose those three topics. If we go back to that mountain biking, I hope you're not bored with me talking about mountain biking. We're talking about why it's a new sport, why it's a fascinating sport or an interesting sport, and why is it a diverse sport, for instance. Those are the topics. And then we can also go with problem and solution. For instance, we're talking about bees are dying. So that's a problem. What are the solution? Oh, the solution is go plant some flowers on your front yard and backyard and windowsills, for instance. Another one that's also pretty popular is this idea of cause and effect. So what are the causes for bees to die? Yeah, and what are the effects of bees dying, for instance? Or, for instance, what are the causes for COVID-19? And what are the effects of COVID-19? And then we can talk about social distancing, stay-at-home order, and in terms of economy, how does that affect the economy in the United States? Yeah, so those are the cause and effect. And then there's rambling. And I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this. When you do not know what you want to talk about, people tend to ramble, yeah? And, until they hopefully make a certain point. And I'm hoping that I'm not rambling here. Anyway, all right. And there are two types of outlines when you're creating an outline for your public speaking class. One is what we call as preparation or working outline. In this preparation or working outline, basically you laid out the script for your speech. So you write everything, sentence by sentence. And in this module, I actually provide a working outline template for informative speech so that you can go to your module and then you can click on it and see what does the working outline or the preparation outline for informative speech look like. And then if preparation or working outline means that you have to write down every sentence of your speech, in the speaking outline, you only have your cue cards. And in your speaking outline, you only have bullet points of main ideas that you just need to glance at it to jog your memory so that you can deliver your speech fluently. Yeah. So it is a big no-no for you to have full sentences in the speaking outline. And I tell you this based on my experience, because when you have sentence by sentence in your speaking outline, then what you do is that you tend to read your sentences and you don't look up and talk to your audience. And having that eye contact and connection with your audience is really important. And I cannot, basically highlight the importance of this connection enough. Because when we do public speaking, well, basically what we are trying to do is we're trying to communicate with our audience, right? So do not, I repeat, do not have full sentences in your speaking outline. Have your full sentences in your preparation or working outline. So I hope that is clear, because now I would like to discuss the lecture check questions for this second mini lecture. So here, now that you have learned different patterns to organize your main points from special to rambling, tell us which one is the easiest pattern for you to use and which one is the most challenging one. Provide a brief explanation why to each of your answers. For instance, I like cause and effect. And the reason why I like cause and effect is this. And for me, the most challenging one is special, for instance, because I'm just not a specially inclined person. So describing directions and orienting myself in a room is really confusing. For instance, okay. Don't forget to post your answers to the discussion board and respond to at least 2 of your classmates' answers by Wednesday, June 3rd at 11:59 p.m. Try your best to post as early as possible so that you will have time to respond to your classmates' answers. All right, that's it. I'm going to continue with my third part of mini lecture. Thank you, everyone.